nothing will bring him back. But I don't want another family to ever go through this ever again.
Latricia Scott is grieving the death of her father, her entire family mourning the chance to say goodbye.
In his last couple of days, he had to suffer alone. He had to die alone.
Derek Reagan was serving time at the Butler County Jail on a federal drug conviction, a prisoner of the U.S. Marshals Service. Reagan's daughters say his mistakes don't define him. They'll remember how hard he loved. For years, he trained his son, boxer Duke Reagan. Last summer, he earned a spot on Team USA for the Tokyo Games. He brought home an Olympic silver medal.
Even behind the jail, the walls and stuff from the inside, he's still motivation. He still called every day, check up on me and stuff like that.
3 months later, in mid-November, Derek Reagan called his oldest daughter to say he was sick.
He told me he was in isolation. I said, well, did they do a COVID test? And he said no.
Scott says Reagan was eventually tested. The jail confirmed to me it did have one positive case that week, and in fact maintains that case is the only positive case among inmates in the jail from September through November. It declined to tell us how many corrections officers tested positive in that time frame. 10 days later, November 29th, around 8:30 a.m., this surveillance video shows Reagan leaving the jail on a stretcher, headed to Bethesda Butler's ER. Hamilton Fire Department records show a transport for a COVID-positive man having difficulty breathing.
The jail never notified us that he was, rushed to the hospital. Neither did the U.S. Marshals.
The person who did, the Hamilton Health Commissioner. Scott says as she worked the phones to find out her father's condition, the commissioner told her Reagan was hospitalized.
And she said, hey, I want to let you know your dad was admitted, rushed to the hospital, he was admitted.
Scott says she and her brother went to the hospital, but staff told them the U.S. Marshals weren't allowing family to get updates on their dad's condition. 5 days later,
I get a call Saturday morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, from the U.S. Marshal telling me that he passed away.
As a nurse who travels to COVID-19 hotspots, she knows how her dad suffered.
I go travel miles to save people I don't know. And you mean to tell me that I can't even help my own family, my own dad? I travel miles.
The family says their pastor was also denied.
There is never an excuse for something like this to happen.
We brought this case to David Singleton, executive director and attorney with the Ohio Justice and Policy Center.
When I heard about Derek Reagan's situation and the fact that his family wasn't able to be in touch with him as he lay in the hospital dying of COVID, I was outraged. I was horrified.
According to the Butler County Sheriff's Office's hospital visitation policy, if hospital staff determine the injury or illness to be potentially life-threatening, the inmate will be able to use the phone to contact family. If the patient is unable to use the phone, a supervisor should be contacted as to not delay family notification. The U.S. Marshals Service has a similar policy that both defense counsel and next of kin should be notified in case of serious illness or terminal disease. In a statement, the agency says the Southern District of Ohio U.S. Marshals Office followed this policy. The Southern District of Ohio U.S. Marshals Office is unaware of any USMS employee stating that the hospital could not communicate with family. Reagan's family and defense attorney say no one from the Marshal Service contacted them until after Reagan was already dead. The Marshal Service declined to give me a specific timeline.
Two entities are on the hook here. The Marshal Service and the local jail, they both failed.
Reagan's family laid him to rest before Christmas, feeling they were robbed of a proper goodbye.
That was cruel. They tortured us. They tortured us for 5 days. They broke our soul.
I've confirmed with the State Bureau of Adult Detention that they are investigating this. More to come on that end. Jatera McGee, WLWT News 5.